Hey, yo, welcome, jerks. You notice anything different tonight? I'm getting ready to go down to court tomorrow. I feel like Mazza Media always does these movie references. I'm going to bring in the Loudon Swain from Vision Quest movie reference when the older line cook, I think he was, misses a day of work. He never misses work, and Loudon Swain is concerned and shows up at the guy's his little room that he stays in, his little place, his little ramshackle place, and says, "Why are you missing work today?" And he's putting on a tie and he's shaving up and he says, "Kid, I'm going to see greatness. I'm going to see you do your thing. That's why I'm taking a day off of work." And that's what I feel like tomorrow. I'm going to be there tomorrow. That's why I got all shaved up. I'm all ready to go. And I can't wait for tomorrow and tonight and what's coming up even tomorrow night. Canton Select Board. So much happening. We have who you want. We got the 3Ms here. We got Mazza Media. Going to bring him up, and I'm going to bring up attorney Mark Bederow, both of them at the same time. What up, gentlemen?
How are you?
I'm breathless.
Everybody's breathless after that fiasco today. You'll never see anything like that again, ever, in a courtroom. You'll never see accident reconstruction witnesses hired by the FBI, called as defense witnesses when they were equally available, and just nuke the DA's case in the span of 2 hours, whatever was left of it anyway. And it's what we talked about when the trial started, at least what I thought. It was going to be over. It was going to be an acquittal. She never should have been charged. And now the evidence is out there. I assume the public will be even more outraged. And I think it's a real life scandal because, and that scandal goes back to the DA's office. How in the hell could they possibly try this case knowing what these witnesses were going to say, knowing their credentials, knowing the contents of their report, knowing how weak their own witness was, knowing about the butt dials, knowing about everything else that goes on, and for them to try the case, I think it's a scandal. I mean, there real questions have to be asked of people in the DA's office and how you could possibly subject this woman to this kind of show trial charade for the past couple of months or whatever it was. This is unbelievable. We say this all the time. Every day it seems like it's worse than the last, but I have full confidence in saying that I've never seen what happened today prior in 25 years, and I'll never see it happen again in 25 more. That was, I don't even know what the adjective is, how awful that was to see. Cringe inducing. And a lot of the damage was actually done by Lally, which was kind of interesting. When he wanted to throw out all that evidence, well, what about, the taillight, and what about this? And they didn't tell you that. And then he didn't understand the fundamental issue for these guys is science and math, equations, numbers, scientific law, which controls, and 45 pieces of taillights sprinkled on the lawn, which revealed themselves, doesn't change that. And as an added bonus, doesn't it make it more likely? Indeed, doesn't it make it almost conclusive if you credit the ARCA witnesses that they planted evidence? So let's go ahead and say that for the first time without equivocation. It seems to me that there's no question that they had to have planted taillight evidence. I mean, I kind of thought that before, but in light of what happened today, how could it not be? The taillight couldn't do what the cops had it do. And I also found it very interesting about the damage on the car and the SUV, not the taillight, the other thing, the dent by the windshield wiper thing, which also did not match what should have been with an accident if it hit John O'Keefe. So did they do that too? Kind of think they did. Tinfoil hat and all. I think they did. So she'll get acquitted tomorrow. It'll be over for her. And then, then you enter the scandal mode of this proceeding, which I think will go on for a couple of years. But lots happened in the last 24 hours, right? One of the Albert relatives got arrested or cited for all kinds of things, mixing it up with Turtle Boy.
Yeah, one of the employees of the Alberts too. Chris
Yeah,
Albert's employee got arrested.
right,
And Chris Albert, the select board member, who we're
right,
wondering is he going to show up tomorrow night, Tuesday night, for the select
right.
board meeting, because he
Bragging about his
literally
prowess is
said that he could kick Turtle Boy's
right,
ass up and down the street if it
right.
was legal. If it like basically like it was just this little threat. Like these guys, they
They're
showed the
thugs.
world last night who
They're
they are.
thugs. They're thugs. They're low class thugs. I mean, they are what they are, and it's all coming unglued and undone, and it was exposed. Let me just say one last thing before I forget. Like we were talking before we started, if the defense in this case didn't even give an opening statement, if they didn't cross-examine a single witness in the case, if they didn't call any other witnesses but the last two guys from ARCA today, she'd still get acquitted in a day. That's how bad it is what these guys had to say today.
Yeah, it was. And it was just so obvious too. I think that anyone that doesn't, even the people that were fence sitting, I asked them today, and they're like, "Nope, she's
Except,
innocent." They're like, they
except for
got
this,
there. A lot of the sitters got to innocence today. It seems like.
except for this one lawyer who I don't know, who's like seems to be really out there. Who I don't know if it's just for clicks or attention, saying look at me," but he was. He couldn't possibly. I thought it was sarcasm. I had to read it 5 times, but he was saying how Lally was destroying these witnesses and how he was doing such an effective job and how these
Is that
guys were
that guy,
just
Matt? Matt? Are you talking
something
about
like that.
Matt
I
T or
don't know
whatever?
him. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
he's
I'm
not
not.
a fence sitter. He's a total coffin daffer type clown.
I don't
Like,
know what it is, but
yeah, he's a
I mean,
Wendy Murphy.
but
Yeah.
he's apparently a practicing criminal lawyer, and reputation and credibility matter in this industry. And if you put your neck out there with an opinion, at least have some common sense facts to back it. It does seem like almost yeah, he doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. It's bizarre. But in any event, you'll never see what you saw today ever again. We talked about the nuclear bomb that was going to be dropped. It was detonated, and it was brutal, and it was lethal, and it was delivered with finality. It's over. I always thought it was over, but if anyone had any doubts, it's over.
I'm hoping. No, I hope so. I feel like it's a party over here, but I hope it's not premature. That's what
Well,
I'm
I mean, you always have to, jurors are jurors, but they're not going to get 12. That's not happening. Are they going to get one? Probably not. Again, these guys are real experts who said there's no way that there was a car accident that caused those injuries. The damage on the car doesn't match. The damage on John O'Keefe doesn't match. The DA's case doesn't match. That's it. There's literally nothing. How do you, if you're a juror, go into the room and say, okay, let's deliberate? I mean, all you have to do in a summation, if you're Jackson, is say, if those experts are credible, you're done. That's it. Before you get to anything else, that's it. No car accident, no crime. Right? That's it. Literally it. Their whole theory was destroyed today in one fell swoop by two guys who have degrees. And we talked about this last week. No rebuttal because they can't. What are they going to do? Call Paul to say that those degrees don't mean anything? Because I see evidence that just kind of got there because it did. And, the crime scene told me that they're full of shit. This is embarrassing on a national level for this level of practice by a prosecutor's office. They can't be this incompetent. It really has to be something worse to go forward in the face of this evidence.
Yeah, and it feels good here because that's what I kept going back to. That's what brought me back out of my shell was the car in the body, and these guys drove it home. We knew they were coming the whole time, but just to see it actually that what you do was coming actually did come to fruition, and so many of the things that you've been saying, Mark, have been really on the mark. Like even the order of the witnesses we've been talking about, their shortened defense.
Well,
It's been right on the mark.
for a real estate attorney and grifter, I kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit. Um, I mean, this is the world we live in. So we see these kinds of things. I mean, this case is unique, clearly, but putting it together and analyzing it, it's pretty straightforward. And I think anyone from a criminal defense background or prosecution background or both, as I am, would look at this even before the trial started based on what the parties are representing the evidence would be. I mean, that is kind of a leap of faith that they're telling the truth. Yes, that's true. But they generally don't lie about in court what the evidence is going to be. And once it was clear what the evidence was going to be, I felt comfortable telling you 2 months ago, there's no way she's going to get convicted. And the real question you should be asking is, why did she get indicted? That's the scandal. And after today, I feel even stronger about that. And I think once people get over the excitement, I think it ought to turn to anger. And what are you going to do about it? Because this should never have happened for a lot of different reasons. And the fingers all have to go back to Michael Morrissey, all of them. Everything. I mean, he needs to be reporters, mainstream television channel or print media should be sticking microphones in his face, calling him repeatedly and say, what did you know and when did you know it about these reports? And how could you justify going forward in the face of that? You can't do that. Why didn't they adjourn the case and say, we need to investigate and reevaluate? They didn't do any of it. Instead, what they did today was send the other one up to argue, well, she must have deleted the Ring camera so that she's guilty. She demonstrated a consciousness of guilt, which I think is a very disingenuous summary of the evidence, by the way, about the Ring camera. It seemed to me that Proctor did the Ring camera based on or
on the kids' testimony too. Yeah.
Right. Between the kids, between Yuri's own testimony, between Proctor's and everyone else's. And then they apparently want to punish her for driving, bringing the car to her parents' house was an attempt to conceal the car, which was concealed so well that they went down there and the car was sitting in plain view on the driveway with the allegedly broken taillight just staring at them in the face, as opposed to being put in the garage, which is what somebody who was trying to conceal it would do. Or if somebody was really trying to conceal it, they might, drive it to another state or just get rid of it. So they're really just flailing around like fish out of water. They're going to get it so bad tomorrow. And then when they're really going to get it is when, these lawyers and I'm sure Karen Reed herself take the gloves off and let it rip in terms of what they really think. And I can only imagine how brutal it is, because I know what I would say if I were them and have said it in other situations. I think they're just going to unleash the hounds like you've never seen.
And I think tomorrow people are going to be activated tomorrow because there were hundreds of people out there today. It was the biggest crowd yet. I expect even bigger crowd tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
And people are going to show up to the next thing, the Canton Select Board. I think there's going to be a lot more activity happening. You're going
to have a verdict probably tomorrow. I mean, again, you can't literally predict, but if she's really restricting the summations to an hour, they're supposed to start at 9:00, give it 9:30. That takes you to 11:30. The jury instructions take, 45 minutes to an hour. Call it 12:15, 12:30. Do they deliberate over lunch? They'll probably say, if we can, we'd like to. They want to get the hell out of here. 9 weeks of this, right? So if they start deliberating at 12:30 or 1:00, and the only issue is there reasonable doubt about whether she drove her car over John O'Keefe? Not did she do it? Are we sure that's what happened? Is there any reasonable doubt that might lead us to find that didn't happen? And all you need those two guys today, it's going to be fast, I think, especially because I'm very glad that the defense did not seek the lesser included offenses, that they went for the all or nothing. That's the right move, I think. In some sense, I'm surprised the DA didn't, although I think the optics of a misdemeanor drunk driving conviction on an intentional murder case is embarrassing. But to me, that's the only charge that even would have a juror at least open to the concept of discussing. Maybe there, I mean, there is some evidence of that. I don't know that there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt for a lot of reasons, but that's not a frivolous thing. And once nobody wanted that today, and it literally comes down to, did she back into John O'Keefe, thereby causing his death? I think they're going to be out of there fast. They're not going to want to come back on Wednesday. They're going to want to go to the beach.
Excellent. Mazamedia, what do you got for us?
I got breaking news from the world of mass media is that I'm getting out of work tomorrow at 10:30, and I'm going to be in Dedham at noontime roughly tomorrow. So I will be there. I will meet you, Mike, and I'll meet anybody else, and we're all going to have a great day tomorrow. And
Oh, I
hopefully
can't
Mr.
wait.
Bederow's right that this verdict's coming in tomorrow, because this is the one and only chance I got to be there this month. So that's it. I made it work. I got it done today. So I won't be there Wednesday. It's all or nothing tomorrow. If it's not, then I hope everybody enjoys it when that verdict comes out with a not guilty. But that's it. I'll be there tomorrow. So I can't wait. I am fired up to be there tomorrow.
I'm jealous. I'm
wait.
going to
I
be in
can't wait
Queens
to see you.
County Supreme Court.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll be
Yeah.
good though. That'll be good. Well, I can't wait to see you, Mazza. It's
Yep,
going to be a party
absolutely.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll have to stay close together because everybody's going to want to get a picture with me and you at the same time, Mike. So we'll just be like side by side.
We should get we should get a cutout of Mark. It'll be like
Yeah.
the 3Ms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll be there in spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoever made the cardboard cutout of Scott McGinnis, if you could overnight a
Yeah, they
cardboard
could do
cutout
that.
of Mr. Bederow, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, we need a cardboard cutout.
In the magician outfit, preferably.
Yes. Did you hear we got some fan art? I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't ask you about that. Did you like that? It lit up the chat.
Yeah, it's funny. It's okay. It's funny. It's not my thing, but it's funny. I appreciate it.
I almost wanted like Santa Claus because it's like I feel like it's Christmas Eve tonight. It's like the night before, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be great tomorrow.
701 guy to the question someone asked.
Someone told me to bring a Sharpie tomorrow so I can sign autographs. That's funny.
Oh yeah, what is this? You answered this one? 01701.
01701. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Someone said not guilty, 2:27 p.m.
Oh, I thought they were going to say Hoss long till the not guilty verdict, but 2 hours or 27 minutes, maybe. I mean, look,
you said 3:30 was the over under. What did you think? 3:30?
Yeah, no, I think that again, 3.5 hours, if my math is right. Normally in a murder case, you'd say that's real fast. Honestly, I mean, you never know how jurors do this, but I think, and maybe some people that have been on juries would confirm this. I've never been on one because you get thrown out because nobody wants you for obvious reasons. But don't they generally take a little straw poll about how do we feel? And if it feels like, 12-0 and nobody has anything really much to say, to me, it comes down to what's for lunch and do we want it? What are they going to deliberate here? You don't have to deliberate about 90% of the stuff. Are they going to deliberate about, what time they left the waterfall? Do you really think anybody right now is thinking about the timeline or even the Google search or even the butt dials? This is all interesting stuff. The inverted video, all this stuff. Or are they just thinking about two guys who are among the best experts you'll ever see? And I've seen a lot of experts. These guys are like pretty much as good as it gets, especially the second one. He's about he may be the best testifying expert I've ever seen. He's that good. And they're not hired by the defense. They set that up beautifully about how they were equally available to the DA, but they didn't call them. We did. And the cross-examination mostly was, well, did you review other evidence or only what you were allowed to see? Which of course doesn't matter unless it relates to the science. Unless it was evidence related to the speed of the car, those kinds of things. We're just saying it doesn't matter. You don't seem to get it. It means nothing to us. And when you're having this guy having the time of his life talking about, I'm so smart that I made a cannon and was firing, glass at the taillight. Did you see that guy? He was like a kid in a candy store having, I mean, it was like Attack of the Nerds today. They just completely got to do their
Why
thing.
not? Yeah. Why
Yeah,
not do
and
that?
or what do they call them? The Crash Daddies or whatever they're calling them. I
Sounds
Crash
mean,
Daddy.
funny.
Auntie Bev was checking out Mr. Wolf when he got on the
yeah,
stand today.
that was
She's
a
like,
funny
Yeah,
she's
what
like,
was that? Oh,
I was like, wow, like
well,
calm
Dr.
down,
Wolf.
calm
he's a
down.
good-looking gentleman.
Yeah,
Let's
he
be
is.
honest. That's that's a fair observation. But those guys are so good. And the DA's whole case is she mowed him down. And the most interesting part of this trial, bar none, is going to be what the hell is Adam Lally going to say for an hour with a straight face to say to the jury, we have proven our case. He knows he hasn't. If you watched the charge conference today, did you watch that?
No, I missed
I
that.
watched
All
a
right.
little
Well,
bit of it. Yeah,
I
yeah.
watched it late on my way home today to get ready for this because I know there were some interesting issues about that. And he wasn't doing the arguing, which is not surprising. That's the law guy does this kind of stuff. And he was sitting there just twiddling a paperclip with his head down for an extended period of time on camera, and you could just see it. I mean, the resignation, the defeat, the whole. It was, to me, it was similar to what you saw the other day when he got the sad face from his partner saying, "That's it, you got to rest." This, that sad trombone kind of look.
Yeah.
It's I'm almost speechless.
Wah,
I can't believe what you saw today. I
that
don't know.
wah, wah,
I don't
wah.
know what a jury is supposed to talk about, and I don't or think about, and I don't understand what the DA is going to say for an hour. What is he going to do? Talk about how credible Jennifer McCabe was, and how credible Trooper Paul was, and why you should trust Trooper Paul. Don't do like the Yellow Cottage guy did with his little mock summation, where he put on his wrinkled collared shirt and tie to pretend he's and talk about Trooper Paul and how credible he is and that's why she's guilty. It, it's going to be over tomorrow. It really is. You guys
For some reason, people want us to get Lally on the show after. I wouldn't want that show. Would you? Would you want to talk to him?
You know what? He needs a TED Talk, so let's bring him on if he's willing to come. Because no, he really,
You can talk to him like
honestly,
he's a small child, Mark.
well, I don't know what to make
Adam.
of him because
Adam.
I don't know if he's just dense or worse. Because the question that somebody has to ask him is, how could you possibly, even like the same with Morrissey, but you're the guy in court. You're the one who's getting just dragged constantly in all these videos. Everyone's laughing at you, but it's not a laughing matter. I mean, a woman was on trial for her life and potentially could have gone to prison for the rest of her life. She's been humiliated. She's been smeared. They're going to OJ her when this is over. That. OJ's the classic example of the guilty person who got away with it. The loonies are going to try to make that comparison. I don't think it's a very good one here, but somebody needs to ask him, how could you think that morally and ethically that this was the right thing to do, knowing what those reports were on top of everything else? And I mean, what's he going to say? He's going to say nothing because he's not going to talk to you, obviously. But they should still ask the questions from all these people. And then when this is over, the state police and the DA's office, they need to be emptied out. It's just people need to go because of this.
Let's hope that happens. I want to see it sooner than later. Let's see it this week, this month. People resign.
Lally's not holding out for Netflix. They don't want him. They want people to watch, not go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Lally kills ratings and viewership. I know from experience. I had a show where I was actually reviewing, footage from court one day, and as soon as I started playing Adam Lally footage, that number just dropped. And as soon as I went back to Alan Jackson, I could sustain an audience. No one wants to listen to Adam Lally. He bores everybody to death. And of course, no one more than the jury, who's been sitting there like for the past couple of weeks, bored out of their mind by this guy. What if anything? Where if anything? Why if anything? Who if anything? It's like, dude, just ask the question. Just ask the question. Enough of this who if anything, why if anything,
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Crazy.
Jeez.
A lot of questions tonight. A lot of comments. I don't know how people still have all these questions. It's funny.
Well, you're moving into the next phase, which is the
Yeah.
scandal phase. And the questions really, I mean, after tonight, I mean, tonight the trial's still on. The analysis has to move to now what? What's the fallout from all this with the civil lawsuits, the federal investigation, the state police terminations and scandals? What happens in the DA's office? This isn't going away.
Now, one of the questions that has been coming up is about the jury instructions. Can you tell us about that? Was that normal? Does everything look
Well,
all right there?
no. It's normal to do a charge conference, which they did, where the both sides, ask the judge or argue, we want the jury to be charged on this and not that. And so, I mean, most of it was normal. I thought the consciousness of guilt thing that we talked about earlier was pretty weak, although I see they walked away from the consciousness of guilt theory based upon the so-called witness harassment that the McCabe's were whining about, 6 weeks ago. But to ask the way they argued the consciousness of guilt, to argue that Ring camera that clearly was deleted or disappeared somehow should be attributed to Karen Reed without any evidence because who else could have done it, I think is, as I said earlier, disingenuous to the state of the evidence. Proctor totally could have done it. And she says, she deleted video of McCabe and Russell looking at the car. Says who? There's no proof of that because there's no evidence of that. And I liked what Yannetti said, although he didn't wrap it around facts, when he said the people that have been, that basically should have the consciousness of guilt charge are the cops. Like the library video, he should have finished the thought and said, let's talk about destroyed evidence. Where's the library video? Where are, the evidence that you learned the other day was deleted from her phone, which is crazy. The location data. How did that happen? Other video, the Sallyport video. You want to talk about consciousness of guilt? Judge, they tried to schnooker the jury with false evidence designed to conceal the taillight and Proctor. So they pushed back. I thought they could have pushed back with there's no jury in the room, with real digs. And maybe tomorrow morning they'll do that. They should. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's stupid. It shouldn't happen. And they shouldn't be allowed to argue that just because she went to her parents' house after her boyfriend was killed. I mean, where do people go in the time of crisis if they're able, when they're feeling terrible? They want their parents if they have them. That's a normal human reaction. And then, she tries to throw out this, this inference or implication that that her father and brother were trying to help her hide the car. I mean, that's shameful to be doing this. They just have no shame, and this is why they're zombies. You can't embarrass these people. They don't care.
Now, we had a comment, thoughts on connection to Sandra Birchmore. We have discussed that on this show a little bit. I put it out to the audience tonight too. Like, after this is over, obviously we're going to cover, what's going on in Canton and the follow up from this, but other cases that you may want us to cover. People keep bringing it up.
I'm intrigued by this one. I don't know much about it other than I know it's got some of the same cast of characters, some of them anyway. I mean, I know what I read in the paper maybe a month ago, that she's a young girl who was alleged to have committed suicide after being exploited by cops in Stoughton or whatever. I saw something today where, the family or somebody hired Michael Bodden, who is a well-known forensic pathologist. He's getting up there. I mean, last time I saw him on a case 5 years ago, I think he was already in his mid 80s, I think. And I know he opined that was a homicide. See,
Yes.
you can still decide to find a manner of death if you look for the evidence. But I think when people were saying it was classified, and again, I don't know enough about the case, just because a defense pathologist says, in his opinion, it's a homicide does not mean that officially it's not a government.
Yeah. It's a
or-
third party.
Right.
But
It's,
what's interesting about this one is the attorney general took this case from the DA, from Norfolk County DA. So the attorney general has taken over this case. So
that's in particular why I'm intrigued by this, because I'm telling you, I've seen a DA's office like this. I think this may be worse, and that's saying a lot because I have a lot of strong feelings about the other one, but that should be looked into, and that's something that, time permitting, I would go down that rabbit hole and look and see what it is. And the advantage would be much earlier in the process. The Karen Reed thing, I was very late to the party.
Any
It's short-
comment, Mazza? Have you been following Sandra Birchmore too?
Vaguely, but I've been so occupied with the Karen Reed case and all the developments that have been going on, I really haven't had much time. I'm aware of kind of like the 101 level stuff involved with it and what went on, and I was listening to a little bit of it today as well. But I might start just kind of studying up on it a little bit, looking into it, and maybe even starting to cover that on my own channel as well. So we'll see how things go.
Can we correct something real fast? A lot of
Yes.
people think that Lally's partner and Yannetti are doing the closings, because that's not accurate. What you saw today when the judge said who's doing the arguing, that was related to the issues over the jury instructions. Okay, law nerds who don't talk in court are not doing summations in a murder case. And I mean, certainly, obviously, Yannetti is more than qualified, but I mean, once he did the opening, that was kind of the tell that Jackson was doing the closing. So whatever people were talking about earlier today, that's got nothing to do with it.
So it's Jackson, you think, who's doing the closing, or do you know that for a fact? You're assuming, or
I don't know it for a fact. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not, literally talking to them, but he
Makes the
seems
most sense, you think?
he's the lead attorney. I think that's obvious. And Yannetti did the opening, and usually when you have more than one top level attorney on the same team, when you divide and conquer material, if somebody does the opening, the lead guy does the closing. He's going to do it. McLaughlin, is that her name? She's not doing the there is no way she's doing the closing. And at this point, if you were her, wouldn't you say, hell no?
Yeah.
This is
No
your bag
way.
of shit. This is your bag of shit. Finish it. It's all you, my man.
Mark, will
So-
you be doing your own version of the closing arguments? Because I know a guy on the other side that did his own version.
The Yellow Attic.
No, I think that, I mean, that was embarrassing. No, I'm not going. There's no reason for me to pretend to be a lawyer and do a closing argument. What I am going to do is a real one on Wednesday. Okay. So Mr., as I said, he just because he pulls out a collared shirt from the hamper and tries to iron it and put a tie on and stare into his camera and talk about Trooper Paul. Look, the guy did a mock closing before the defense experts testified. He just
Right.
ignored. That's all that needs to be said about him.
You
So
can
No,
follow
you-
him
you-
for more
yeah.
recipes as well online, right?
I like talking about this and analyzing it because it's what I do and I have a little bit of knowledge about it. But what I am not going to do is to get up in front of the mirror and a microphone and post on Twitter my mock summation. Instead of doing that, let Alan Jackson do a real one, do it really well, and I'll go do my own on Wednesday, and then everyone will be happy.
Would you say you're doing one on Wednesday? People should know you're in court. You're in court right now, right? For a
Mhm.
client.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
So he's actually really doing it in court. He doesn't need to come home and do it again for fake. Like he's doing
No.
it for real. I like Kevin.
That was I didn't think that was real either. I couldn't believe that.
I didn't watch it. I just saw the link and I just said, "Oh no, I'm not watching that.
Listen,
That's gonna be hell."
Sometimes you need to succumb to train wreck TV. Now, it's 17 minutes long, and you will say when it's over, "How do I get those 17 minutes of my life back?" But you have to do it. You have to yield to the temptation and just watch it and just recognize that he's giving a closing argument without the defense evidence because, who cares?
What a
We don't need
joker.
that.
We don't need that. Yeah.
Trooper Paul's got it covered, and those voicemail calls, and it's over. She's guilty.
Don the jeweler made a great comment. Said the Case season 2, Kirk Minahan and Dave Cullinane. That's the one on Sandra Birchmore. If people want to know about much more about Sandra Birchmore, check out that season. It's a quick one.
Minahan, the radio personality.
Yeah, he's got a podcast, Barstool Sports, and he he also does some murder mystery stuff. So it's
I didn't
called
know that. I thought he was
season
just
2.
like,
Yeah,
I thought he
I
was
can
just
send you it. It's really good.
yeah. I mean, if that's a good starter for sure.
That's the perfect place to start for anyone who's looking to get into Sandra Birchmore. The Case season 2, Kirk Minahan and Dave Cullinane. It's on iTunes and all those Spotify, everywhere else.
By the way, if that case is in Stoughton, why are there Canton cops that are all in that?
Because she died in Canton.
Oh.
So she went to high school in Stoughton. She was a little bit older at this point. She was in her 20s when she died, but she had been groomed as a child by these Stoughton police officers in a police explorers program.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's a very strange situation. People should definitely check that one out.
yeah.
Pretty sick story. Yeah. It's disturbing.
All right. Well, that's next.
Yeah. And this is next too. Someone said, why would Michael Morrissey be involved in all this? That's a good question. That's what I think is going to keep the story going. Like, why did this guy, this DA, put himself up on this? Why? Like, why? Why?
Because, and I mean this figuratively, not literally, but you get fat, drunk, and stupid, and you get a lot of power, and you just start believing your own, that you can do whatever you want. I mean, look, prosecutors have gotten in trouble. We see it in New York, as I think we talked about this last time. DA of Suffolk County went to prison. His chief guy in the DA's office went to prison. Hines in Brooklyn was investigated federally. It never went anywhere, but it essentially cost him his job at the time. It happens. Nifong went to prison, although according to Wendy Murphy, that's a wrongful conviction, I'm sure. Who knows? But this guy, this case, the Karen Reed case, is so scandalous. What possible explanation, good faith explanation, could he give about this? So he's already like lacking credibility and something's wrong. I don't know enough about the other one to fully compare it and contrast it and analyze it about what he might have done wrong, but he seems to have the ability to do it, because why did he do this case? Is he beholden to the Alberts? Is he beholden to something? I don't know. But something's wrong here. And I hope the reporters will start questioning, in light of what you saw today, you as an experienced prosecutor, how do you not just pull the plug, whether you think she's guilty or not? You still have to prove it. And it was impossible to prove. Knew it before the trial started. And that's not what a prosecutor is supposed to do, because they put her through hell. They also, look what they've done to the O'Keefes. Okay. They've led them on this road to nowhere for 2 years. Okay. And whether people like them or don't, I think picking on them is that's a bridge too far for me, but whatever. Some people do, but look at them. They've been told this narrative, and the entire time, the DA knew we're not going to win. They knew it. It's impossible that they didn't know this. And what have they been telling the O'Keefes? Oh, she did it. We're going to get them. Don't worry. Who knows? But what are they going to tell them after? I mean, if I were the O'Keefe family, I would march down to that office and say, what the hell is this? Why are you, go get the real killer?
Exactly.
Come up with something. Or at least tell me why you think she did it, even though you have these brilliant experts who are emphatic. By the way, did you notice they were not, well, it could have been this on most points. They were emphatic that the science, the formulas don't bear it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a math.
They were very confident in what they were saying and believable. And I think it's over, but people are asking again, verdict, estimated time. Well, the Bederow line is 3:30 p.m. That's the over under. I think that's
assuming
good.
They start regular, assuming it's not, they start at 10:30 kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think, look, to be honest with you, that's the over under, but if you told me
to Wednesday, you never know.
It could, but if you told me a murder conviction that's a 9-week trial was deliberated in 2 hours, normally I would tell you that's bad.
Not right. Yeah.
But this is not a murder trial. This is a cartoon. There's nothing here. I mean, there's literally no case. to be deliberated. None. What juror could make a good faith argument that they have proved this case beyond a reasonable doubt, meaning that she mowed him down, to a moral certainty that I am as sure as this as anything else in my life, basically? Just that's lunacy. That's just not going to happen. He will be on the Brady list when this is over.
Yeah, someone's asking why Proctor isn't on the Brady list. He will be
He'll never
hopefully
testify
very
again.
soon. Yeah.
He's damaged goods. He's beyond repair.
There's a comment that just came in and said, Mike, did you see CA's post on X? Is that Colin Albert or Chris Albert? What did Chris Albert make a post about last night? I don't know. Have you seen it, Mazza? Maybe Mazza could take a look for it.
No, I haven't seen anything. I know there was a post, but I think it was like a mock account or something that I had
Okay.
seen. But yeah, I don't know. So
Probably.
they all think they're real tough over there when they're huddled together in groups and masses, and they try to basically go after Turtle Boy's girlfriend, and which was absolutely absurd, childish, creepy, and just not becoming of a man at all, quite frankly.
Somebody I saw on my way to work today, somebody, maybe it was last night, posted a 2-screen video, split screen of what is her name, Jill Daniels, having her fit and the Macarena next to it. Did you see this?
Yeah,
I did see something like that.
That whoever did that,
the videos are great. Yeah,
that is funny.
Yeah, the mashup videos are hilarious.
Whoever did that was funny.
Yeah. Well, she got charged today. Jim Barris got charged today, so they're not feeling too good. And to see Braden Carney's name on her phone and everything, like, you got to get down there right now. The Turtle Boy's there. Okay, I'll get her down there right now. And all I did was lead her to getting charged by grabbing Turtle Boy's phone.
Yeah. So I mean, we have I'm guessing a lot of people have suspicions on who that Braden Carney account on Twitter is and on the phone. Yeah, McCabe. That's what you think. What do you think, Mazza?
I got many theories, but I'm just not sure. It's too tough to tell. There's too many characters on the other side. But I will say this: that particular individual is heavily invested behind the scenes, beyond just being your run-of-the-mill troll.
Oh no, they're angry. They are an angry.
I'd say I would guess McCabe, but it could be what's her name, Proctor.
Mm-hmm. Could be. So. Could be. It's going to be somebody close to all of us, that's for sure, because they are relentless. I had to block all these people. I haven't heard from them in months. Which
exactly. Well, actually, that account blocked me, which I liked. I was like, they really don't like me, huh?
I think I got a Cowboy fan to block me one day, and that was a real. I actually thought that was like my assigned troll for a while, and finally, Cowboy fan blocked me.
Both of us. It happened. Yeah. We tag team him that day. Remember?
Oh, absolutely.
And we both got blocked that day.
Yeah. Cowboy fan.
Yeah. You don't mess.
He's the one with the chicken parm.
He's the one who threatens women online.
Oh, yeah. Nonstop. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Classless. A lot of classlessness. You saw that on full display outside of CF McCarthy's and D&E Pizza yesterday. That's for sure. What a disaster. Turtle Boy and Meredith did a great job keeping themselves together and not really getting baited into some of the things. But they were way out of line yesterday. And Chicken Parm Jr. Really thought he was a real big tough guy yesterday. True, with his 13-year-old mustache that he had on his face.
This is funny. I had no idea that.
They're listening. Oh, I'm
video
sorry.
I thought was so funny is this magician person. So double chef's kiss. I guess that's funny. The Macarena one's much better. That's funny. That's the funniest one I've seen yet of all the craziness surrounding this. Anyway,
now what happened yesterday with Turtle Boy? I mean, it was way over line. That there's this one kid who's actually like touching Meredith.
Sam Nagel.
It was so uncomfortable and cringe. It reminded me of like serial killer vibes. Like, dude,
it was.
You touch a woman that doesn't want to be touched like that, and it was very creepy. And it was trying to bait. You could see they were trying to bait Aiden. It was his girlfriend that they were doing that to. Mm-hmm. 2 people have been summoned now criminally over this. Chris Albert basically said, he'd kick the shit out of Turtle Boy in the street if he could. At the same time, he's claimed that, Aiden is witness intimidated him.
So,
does that help Aiden? Do you think it would help Aiden with his attorney and his charges?
Of course. I mean, part of the whole thing is that these people are intimidated and scared of him. And now there's cell phone video of implying, not literally threatening in an imminent way, but implying that I'm going to kick the crap out of you. And they're charging towards him, not away from him, which doesn't show any real fear or whatever. Now, of course, the people on the other side are going to say, why is he there? He's needling. And, that's a fair point to a limit. But the bottom line is, and they may not like this, he's a journalist and he's doing journalism. And he wanted to go see about the cell phone and the hills and all of that. And you know what? Whether you like him or not, he's doing real journalism that a lot of mainstream reporters are not doing. And if he wants to go eat in the same place where all the action went down, it's a free country. He can do that. And whether you think he's needling or not, that doesn't give this lunatic the right to come charging out of the car like a bull when they release the bulls in Spain and charge at him and grab his phone and scream and yell, and the other kid to touch his girlfriend. I mean, you can't do that. So they just totally fell for the cheese. So yeah, he gets the advantage to him yesterday, although,
Advantage Boys reference there, maybe. Oh,
I didn't even think of that. No, I didn't even mean
Bang
that.
bang.
I mean, it was kind of a net gain for him yesterday, although, he can do it his own way. I'm not sure running around Canton and going to those locations is, that's not something I would do.
it's a bad look for them when you got, Turtle Boy trying to walk in to see if McCarthy's yesterday, and he has a chance encounter with Colin, and then Colin wants to get the cops called, and then you got Julie inside, basically taking photos of him and calling him, and then by the time he walks out of the place,
After
you
he
get a whole
eats, he's
gang
eating
of people
dinner. He's just
outside.
eating dinner
Yeah.
there.
The problem, and this is why the whole idea that the words I use that like they would prosecute him and die on the hill of going after him is so stupid, because anytime you want to say, well, he's out there just needling and whatever, there's a big distinction here. He's a journalist chasing a story related to a case, which for the most part he broke, whether you like him or not. And if he's out there, he has a right to do it. No other journalists are doing it. And what happened yesterday? Yeah, he was there. That's their turf. They don't like it, but he didn't do anything in terms of charging at them. And then they come at him and then they start yelling at each other. And and then the other thing is you see these people, they're so stupid. They start on top of assaulting him and the girlfriend, they start saying things while the cameras are rolling, which are going to come back. What do you care about what happened to John O'Keefe? Well, that's not really a good look for her and her family when, the guy never came in the house. There's a man lying, McCabe, when she called 911, they tried to tell everyone that they, shock and horror over what happened to their wonderful friend. And maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't, but they don't seem to be too concerned or thinking about John O'Keefe as much as they're thinking about, don't tell them that the guy came in the house. They're looking to save their own asses. It's always been about that. And yesterday they just made it that much worse for them. And the case against him is going to be much worse. And when Karen Reed gets acquitted tomorrow, I mean, are they really still going to prosecute him over, First Amendment, when that's going to be his defense, is waiving the First Amendment, and he is a journalist? Because they don't like.
It shows who's been trying to intimidate who here, and it hasn't been Turtle Boy intimidating anybody. In fact, it never has. It's always been these particular individuals that have been going after everybody else and using their friends and their connections, and people that are out of towners. Karen Reed herself was an out of towner. John O'Keefe, was someone that they knew, but with Karen, look at the way they treated her. They basically framed her and covered up John O'Keefe's murder and pinned it all on him. And then Turtle Boy walks into town and he can't walk out of the place without a coordinated mob mentality forming outside, and a woman that's quite unhinged, pulling up outside and basically rolling out of the vehicle like she thinks she's Stone Cold Steve Austin and trying to smack a phone out of his hands, which was, realistically, I may consider it theft as well as assault, but that was just craziness. I'm like, am I really seeing this right now? Is this really happening?
It's a terrible look too, because look how easily they're triggered and resort to some form of violence. Now,
Yeah.
not like
Not
this
the
was
best way to convince
not
the
that
world
this was the
you're not
equivalent
with.
of
Yeah.
killing someone, obviously, but if these people were a little less thug and a little more normal adults, no matter that they hate him, which is understandable, whether they're right or wrong, you can understand why they would hate him. And you see him there, what a normal, mature adult would do is turn around or mutter under their breath and walk away, not call in the cavalry, turn thug, charge him, yank his phone and start screaming and yelling and going crazy, and then having the town selectman who is now threatening to harm him. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's like a known deadbeat tax guy in the past, I think.
Yeah, he's
If I'm
owes a lot of
really
tax
okay.
money.
Yeah.
Like
You've
liens.
already killed someone and went to jail previously, okay? And your direct family of all these people who are being accused of being involved in a terrible death, you were in the house. Your kid is one of the main suspects, so says the defense. You own, and if for no other reason, dude, you own a business. Like, you really want to go thug like this and like encourage people that the guy who owns this business is just a ginormous meathead who can't control himself?
Acts like an adolescent. You know,
Yeah,
he's
Right.
and
absolutely childish.
even after the trial's over, it's not now like, come on, when the trial's over, these people, I don't know, maybe they're going to be witnesses against Turtle Boy. Maybe that's how they extend this harassment protection order. But next to this restaurant that has become like almost a tourist attraction now, people are
Yeah.
going to show up like in a year from now when he's not a witness, or even next week when he's not a witness, or tomorrow when he's maybe not a witness. How are they going to handle this? Like, are they going to continue to just act like thugs every time
They,
someone shows
they,
up with cameras?
they are just clueless about all of this and don't understand common sense. They don't understand they own a business. You're on the town council or whatever it is. And, you have all these cases going on. The cell phones are rolling and they act like this. And again, if they act like that when the phones are rolling, what about if they're inside the house, wasted after a night of drinking, and someone comes over who they may not want to be there? You think they're capable of maybe getting a little hothead? I don't know what they did or didn't do in the house, but they certainly passed the plausible test. If they get that worked up over in the presence of his girlfriend, for Christ's sakes, just going to eat at, the famous waterfall.
So, what's our theory, Ben? We think a group of individuals got into it with John O'Keefe, ganged up on him, and then basically beat him and left him for dead with the dog included. What happened yesterday on the streets of Canton? A gang of people going after Turtle Boy and his girlfriend. Basically, what you saw was a daylight simulation or representation of exactly what we've long theorized basically happened inside the house, happening right before you on the sidewalk, while more eyes than ever are now following this case now than they were 2.5 years ago. And you got NBC News rolling right down there last night, interviewing people on the spot about what happened. It was the absolute validation. If there was any doubt among anyone out there that this is what we say it is and what all our theories are correct, it was on full display on that sidewalk that these individuals have a mob mentality. And what happened to John O'Keefe was clearly, like we always thought it was, an individual or individuals beat him down, got attacked by the dog. He got dragged out of the house, up through the back bulkhead, and through the fence on the side of the house, and left for dead out front.
Well, to follow your point and bring it back to tomorrow, when a really good trial lawyer gets an opportunity to kind of, make the final push. If you accept the fact that, and again, the evidence is overwhelming, no car accident, didn't happen. Okay. Again, the experts are clear. Well, now you're left to then what happened? And are there any other even logical possibilities if he's found dead on the front lawn? If it wasn't the car, it really only leaves two other possibilities. Some kind of slip and fall, which doesn't seem to cause the head injury in the middle of the lawn, seems impossible to believe. Well, that leaves 34 Fairview. That leaves 3 medical examiners, I think by my count, all said could have been dog bites. All of a sudden, that is starting to look more and more like what really could have happened, even though you don't know the specifics of who did what. I mean, you're just not in this trial anyway. You're never going to know. But they can really wrap it around. If you eliminate the car accident, now it's getting really disturbing because there's a man dead on the front lawn with one shoe on, with injuries on his arm that appear to be consistent with a dog bite, facial injuries and back of the head injuries, which appear to be consistent with some kind of fight. You've got a bunch of people in the house who all go Sergeant Schultz, don't see anything, I know nothing, and then start sending each other weird butt dials and text messages, Google searches, whether you want to agree or disagree about the timing of that. All of a sudden, the non-third party culprit, yet I'm arguing third party culprit argument, sounds like the more logical scenario. And so does the idea that if there's no car accident, then how did that taillight get there? It feels like it was planted.
Definitely does. And I think yesterday, just watching that, it reminded you something out of a movie, like these guys sitting in front of the pizza shop, the gang. Like if you're trying to not to convince people that you're a thug gang, don't sit in front of your pizza shop and yell at people and charge them and touch women. It was just so out of control.
All that was missing was the pig, like the pig thing.
Yeah, a fish in a wrapper or something. Like it was just.
It was like The Sopranos.
It looked like exactly like that, except it was like the Irish version of it.
The bunch of half a wise guys, hanging out, just talking about nothing, and then here comes the guy we hate, and let's get in his face. I mean, that's what it looks like.
And threaten him. Come over here. Come over here. Yeah. And then they charged him at one point. There was one point. Yeah. There was one point where three men came charging at them. That's assault right there. You don't even have to touch someone by law. They should, those guys, I don't know if they like court. I guess they like to go to court.
In Massachusetts, I know you don't have to. New York's a tougher place. Not only do you have to touch someone, you have to cause them injury to get charged with assault. So in New York, you basically got to deck them to get charged with assault.
Yeah. In Massachusetts, you just got to basically scare the shit out of someone. And that was scary to see those three guys come at them.
What you call assault there is more what we call harassment, which is a lesser kind of thing. But yeah, she would not have been charged with assault in New York. Just a different, classification. But it would have been something like harassment and nonsense. But not the most serious thing in the world. But what a bad look for these people.
They comment about Mark, what do you think about the stupid consciousness of guilt, missing ring videos? I think we talked about that.
Yeah, I think it's inappropriate. And I think it was, the evidence didn't warrant the ring video. And I thought the part about the vehicle, I don't think that's fair. I think there's an innocent explanation for it. And the part of it I really didn't like was smearing her father and brother, who have nothing to do with this case, and just gratuitously all but accusing them of helping her conceal evidence, I think was shameful. But, in 24 hours, her father and brother, who are really nice people, as you know, their heads will be hanging a lot higher than that prosecutor who made the argument, who will be hanging her head in shame, and rightfully so.
Another question about the summation. Can the prosecution repeat their fake BS facts? Or is that not allowed?
Well, I mean, they're zombies, so they don't agree with what everyone else recognizes. I mean, they're going to tell you, I assume Lally is going to make an effort. I mean, I just couldn't do this, which is why I just can't respect him. I would probably run away tonight and just not do it. But I assume he's going to, clear his throat a few times and attempt to say with a straight face that what Trooper Paul said makes sense. Now, is that crapola fake fact? Of course, but you gotta go to the dance with the one you brung. They don't have a choice. This is what they have. So it's not a frivolous argument. It's just a stupid argument. I mean, it's not a credible argument. You're a moron for making it, but it's not unethical. Unethical is when he sometimes sneaks in facts that aren't true. Like literally, there's no evidence to support it. Technically, there is evidence at the trial that John O'Keefe was drilled in the shoulder, did the form of a pirouette or whatever we're calling it, banged his head and then bounced 20 feet. I mean, that's what Paul says essentially. And the phone just happened to land, directly underneath him. That's what they said. It's not credible, but there is evidence to use in a summation to argue it. A real prosecutor wouldn't. I'm sure you can finish the rest of the sentence.
Wouldn't do it.
No, this one is going to do it.
Massachusetts is going to go pink tomorrow, I guess. Maz, are you sick of getting objectified? These women. Is Maz going to actually auction himself? I'm down. Let's do it. Says Mama She 13.
Yeah, a lot of the women have this idea where I basically go on stage like I'm Bill Murray and Groundhog Day to be auctioned off for a date, and the proceeds of that auction would basically go to Karen Reed's defense fund. So that's kind of like that's what's
the
being
fantasy
discussed.
they have it here.
I don't
She's
think I have much of a choice in this
$19.99 to
matter
request
anymore.
it. Yeah, she's just requesting like an opportunity even to get to auction.
I don't know why all these people in the comments are saying that Lally's partner and Yannetti are doing the closing. They're not. Just again, when the judge said who's arguing, she meant as it relates to the jury instruction, which was Yannetti and whatever her name is. That has nothing to do with the closing. It's not.
Here's another one that keeps coming up. Could Judge Bev overturn or nullify?
Well, she can't nullify. I mean, the defense could have made another motion at the close of the evidence for a trial order dismissal, which is similar to the one they made at the end of the DA's case. The argument would be very strong right now to say that there's no reasonable view of the evidence in which a reasonable juror could convict. And I think that argument, you would wrap it around the ARCA guys. I mean, that's a good argument. At this point, the DA did not even establish that it was a homicide. And I'm not talking just because the medical examiner wouldn't give a manner of death. That's just legal mumbo jumbo, kind of. But the actual evidence of a homicide that's credible is what? They have a dead body on the lawn with a head injury and other injuries. What is the credible evidence that was caused by an intentional act of another human being? The crickets are, you can hear it because there's no evidence. And then when you have the guys who came in today and said there's no car accident either, you know what? There are judges out there who they'd think about that. And usually what they do, just so you know, because judges by nature are really weak and don't like to make decisions unless they have to, they say, I'll reserve. And then they give it jury. They'll withhold the right.
Yeah.
They let the jury, and if the jury acquits, they never have to make a decision. If the jury convicts, then they say, oh shit, now I have to deal with this. So usually what you would see is a judge reserve, but I don't think, unless I missed it because I was in court and I, watched it and ran back in, I don't think they made that motion.
No, I didn't see that.
They want to sum up. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Got some other questions. I don't know what this one is. What is this one? Why was JD charged with robbery? Who's JD? I don't even know who they're talking about. Do you?
Jill Daniels.
Oh, Jill Daniels.
Well, yeah. Robbery is forcibly stealing property. I mean, look, this is like a law school thing. No one should be charged with robbery for what you saw her do, which is use physical force and snatch his phone. Is that like by letter of the law? What in New York would be a 3rd degree, which is a low level robbery? Yes. Even this wretched woman should not be prosecuted for robbery for grabbing his phone in the struggle and pulling it out of his hands. I don't know that they did charge robbery. If they did, that's a little silly.
It'd probably just be assault. I mean, that's what it seems like the charge really should be.
You have to be credible and fair to both sides, even when the other person is awful. That's a cheesy. That's not a robbery. That's just an unhinged lunatic who grabbed his phone.
Someone said, which unanswered questions of the trial bothers you most?
Well, what happened? because there's no car accident. So what happened? I mean, isn't that the
Oh,
obvious
That's
question?
it. That's what I want to see. When are we going to get justice for John O'Keefe?
Right.
That's
And
it for
then
me.
the other question that I'd like the answer to is, where is all of the video from the Sally Port? Because, if you really had access to the full video in the missing 42 minutes, you might see Proctor doing the taillight. I don't know. I mean, the taillight ended up all over the lawn. How the hell did that happen? I mean, I think
Why
I
weren't all
know.
the
I
pizzas?
think we know.
Why
Yeah,
weren't
I
all the
think we
I'd
know.
pizzas
like to
recovered at
know
the time of the original crime
mechanics of
scene either?
I'd like
Yeah.
to know the mechanics of it. Who actually brought it over there? How did it get there?
Mm.
Who knew? Who was part of this knowledge base of trying to frame her? And you know what? They do have a better chance of learning about that than they do who killed John O'Keefe, because when they sue the pants off the, state police and whatever, and they get civil discovery, that's not good, because all those people are going to get deposed. And, Proctor, and it's going to be all this over again. There isn't going to be a judge there to run interference like she did. There isn't going to be a Lally there. And you have to wonder at some point if some of the little fish do start, for self-preservation, just to help themselves, start telling people things that they know, whatever that means. And that might lead to more knowledge, and who knows where that goes.
They're really ramping it up about you, Mazza. They're starting bid 1,500. Jesus Christ.
1,500.
You're not a cheap date. Not a cheap date. Gonna have to be higher than that, ladies. Come on.
There we go. Mike's thinking like $1 million in funds raised. I think, yeah.
Mazza's not selling out. Come on.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to set him up for life. There's one for Mark tonight. Oh, this is a good one. Mark, please tell me the Century 21 Blazer was a consciousness troll.
Wait a minute. The Century, mine?
They think you're wearing a Century 21 Blazer tonight.
All right, this is a bonobo suit. It's a full suit, not just a blazer. See, it's an actual suit. It goes together.
You're not going to find that on a Century 21 guy.
It's hot and humid in New York today. It's summer, and it's a bench trial. This is not really a jury suit, but it's a bench trial, so it's a little in terms of that stuff. This is not Century 21. Come on.
Yeah, they thought you were trolling.
No. Herd Lank, Brian Albert. I don't know what that means.
Lank, and it wasn't Brian Albert. It was the other Albert. It was Kevin Albert, I believe it was.
Who can keep them all straight? God.
Do you think the Commonwealth will claim John was struck at 12:30 and not 12:45?
You know what? Who cares at this point? It doesn't. This is, if Lally's fixing this issue, he's shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah,
he's already hit the iceberg. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's already going down. And if he's talking about much bigger,
that's the ship breaking in half right now. He's simulating.
Yeah, I think you're breaking up a little bit,
glitch.
Mark. For some reason you've been a little wonky. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna remove you for a second and then bring you back. Let's see if that makes a difference. Are you better now? Yeah, you're better. That's perfect. Some reason, sometimes you just start over and it works better. I don't know why. What was the other one? There was another one here. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not
Someone
it.
said the poor Titanic is always brought into this. We haven't had a time to make the donuts reference in a while, Mark. Can we get a time to make the donuts joke? I think we lost him again.
Oh, you know what, Mark?
Well, actually,
I'm gonna have you
tomorrow. It will no longer be time for Lally to make the donut. Did you hear that? Did I get that before you?
It's a little bit delayed.
Yeah. Tomorrow's the last.
Maybe we should.
Tomorrow.
I think maybe
the shop's closing.
Think we should have you come back in. Like can you go out and just click back in like you would normally on a show and see if it works better that way? There we go. We're gonna bring him back up. This is the one I was trying to bring up too with him. Unless you want to take a whack at that one, Mazza.
Yeah, the 3 charges were, just to read them off, she's being charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating under the influence of alcohol, and leaving the scene of a personal injury and death. Those are the 3 charges right now. So, I mean, basically, if they read off the not guilty verdict in order for each charge, and they say not guilty on second-degree murder, all 3 of them, it's a 3-for-1 verdict, basically, at that point.
Yeah, the people are asking about the 3 charges. Mark, I don't know if you have any comment on that. I think he's still freezing up, huh?
I think he's playing magic tricks on us.
Yeah, he's playing magic tricks on us tonight. After so many nights of this, it's surprising that this hasn't happened before. Too many people are watching. They're frozen up Attorney Bederow's line, probably texting him. This is a good question right here. This is one I want to ask Attorney Bederow. Can the FBI research who some of the unhinged people are on Twitter? What if that would come out? What do you think, Mazza?
Well, if they seized their devices, basically, and they found out that maybe one individual was operating like 5 or 6 accounts, it's always been my theory that a lot of these trolls are operating multiple accounts. That's always been my theory.
Attorney Bederow, you're back. It looks like it's working. Yes.
I'm back.
People want to know. Yeah. Can we
made himself magically disappear and reappear?
Abracadabra. Can the FBI research the Twitter trolls, the worst ones, the ones that have made threats?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they can do whatever they want, right? They can investigate whoever they want, and they have the ability. I mean, I had a client last year, a very, very powerful executive who was being extorted by some kind of troll, a very sophisticated one, who really knew how to hide themselves on the internet. And it took the FBI, we worked with them in the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York to locate this person, and it took them months. But you know what? They got her, and she went to prison as a result. And I mean, it took them time, but they can find anything if they want to. And I don't think these people that you're talking about are the most sophisticated people in the world. I mean, I think they're just losers who like to harass and make different accounts because they get suspended and think they can hide themselves. But yeah, if there were threats, certainly, almost certainly a lot of this stuff would have federal jurisdiction. This stuff tends to cross state lines, the wires, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, they could. Now, do they think, a Twitter troll making silly threats over a case is an imminent harm? And do they do it? Maybe not, but they can.
Another question that came in: if there's a hung jury, can bail be revoked if they arrest her for something else?
If a hung jury, can bail be revoked? So she's out on bail now. I don't know why they would revoke her bail if there was a hung jury as opposed to leave it in place. Why would they take her bail money and then make her put up more if they arrest her for something else? I mean, if she got arrested for a new crime, which I don't believe that would happen. I don't think Karen
what about the jury intimidation crap that they were trying to do with Turtle Boy?
I mean, if they indicted her for that, which I don't think they will or could. I don't know that there's any, just because she may have been talking to him doesn't mean she's conspiring to harass people. It doesn't mean he harassed people either. Yeah, I mean, if somebody gets rearrested for a new crime, you could get additional bail or you could be at risk of having it revoked. I think that would be unconscionable here. And in any event, tomorrow, when she's acquitted, one of the first things I would be doing, or have someone on her behalf do, is say, where's my money? I want my money back, because her bail is going to be exonerated, and whatever, other than whatever, the fees and costs for all that administrative stuff, or whether it's a bail bond or cash. I don't know what her bail situation is, about how it was paid, but she's going to get that back probably tomorrow if she wants it, or certainly soon thereafter.
Comment from New Zealand says, if Chloe did attack John, what do you think about the possibility the injuries on the arm are caused by scavengers, fox or coyote? I'm going to answer that one. I don't think so. I mean, it's definitely possible, but you're talking about the middle of a blizzard, number one. And like most of those, especially coyotes, unless they're rabid, they're looking to eat. They're not looking to like
Right. That's
attack
what I was
random
gonna say.
things. Like, yeah, they would eat if they wanted something to eat, maybe, but I don't think
You ever
so.
see, unfortunately, when you see like dead deer and that, you see like right down to the rib cage kind of
Yeah.
thing, they eat. And
And
I,
they'll rip and tear, and like it just I don't think that's
they'll
what we're
they'll
seeing there.
they'll chew
Yeah,
and tear.
exactly.
I think you're
Yeah,
right. I think the
exactly.
injuries would be much more gruesome. I mean, to me,
They might take a finger or a hand. That's what yeah.
no, it looks, again, I'm not an expert in this, but it almost looks like a police dog reject, which I think
Yep.
Chloe was, right? Who latches on,
Yep.
and it's like one of those, like that's how those dogs attack, right? They're not trying to.
And a lot of dogs too. Like any dog that jumps up, like even dogs that are friendly, they scratch me the same place. I got the scratches on my arm, same places.
I've
That's
been
what
whacked.
dogs do, and you do this. This is what you do when a dog jumps
Well,
up. You know?
one of my dogs is a jabber, and it's not aggressive, but when she jumps up to
Yeah,
do
it's a
whatever,
friendly
she
scratch. Yeah,
comes swinging with her claws, and it's like you get whacked and it hurts, and you
yeah,
get scratches. Not like that, obviously,
yeah.
but
Exactly.
no, I don't think they're scavengers. It's
I
and,
don't
and
either.
I mean, the whole argument that was from the taillight. I mean, that was ridiculous yesterday. Today, it's whatever comes after ridiculous. I don't even know what you call it to believe that those striations and marks came from a taillight. That's but he's going to argue that tomorrow with a straight face. So get ready.
Bro, I'm ready for an hour of boring.
You know what? It's kind of like what I said earlier though about the 17 minutes of yellow idiot. It's a train wreck tomorrow. It's worth seeing. I mean, the other
Yeah.
Lally stuff has not been. Watching direct examinations about what, if anything, is awful. But don't you have this dying need to know what is he possibly going to say? And how pathetic is it going to get in terms of him with a straight face saying, this is credible evidence and here's the path to finding her guilty? I mean, I'm fascinated by it. In some sense, I almost find it more interesting than watching Jackson's, which I'm half kidding, of course, because that's going to be like must see TV. But you have to be curious about what the DA is possibly going to say because there's nothing to say. Well, there you go. See, of course it's Jackson. It's not Lally and it's not McLaughlin and it's not Yannetti. That had nothing to do with it today.
I
Nothing.
love this. Like the Karen Reed defense team is weighing in here pretty much. This is
Yeah,
the
that's as good a
cousin
source as you're going to
of
get.
Karen Reed. Kelly Reed saying that it's definitely Alan Jackson closing tomorrow. Thank you so much, Kelly Reed.
And by the way, either one of them would do a spectacular job.
Exactly.
I mean, she would be in perfect hands either way.
I like Yannetti because he's a North Shore guy. I'm a North Shore guy. You know,
you're a homer.
I'm a homer. I mean, I like Jackson, but those California people. Though I do like Jackson. Jackson is he's phenomenal. Yeah, more comments coming in. Chris A threatened to smear Aiden's head over the pavement. I mean, when you don't want people to think your family is a bunch of thugs, that's not really
right.
what they
By
tell you
saying
to do.
thuggish things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are still asking about like certain things that weren't mentioned in the trial. I mean, if they mentioned all the BS, it would have been another 10 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Well, this thing about the phone call to Yannetti, I mean, that would be classic hearsay anyway.
There you go.
You need the witness. And even then, if they had this Scanlon guy, if his testimony was going to be, I was told by, one of these guys, this is what happened, you'd have to find a hearsay exception. So,
And I don't think Scanlon wants to testify.
no. And again,
Yeah.
none of this matters at this point. It's not
exactly.
It's there's so much reasonable doubt here. It's suffocating.
I can just not wait to see Karen walk out of that court not guilty, and hopefully it just comes tomorrow, because it's just this has gone on for just way too long, and she just needs to be, this free Karen Reed thing needs to become Karen Reed freed, and that's what we all want to see. It'd be great tomorrow, just as soon as possible. Let's let her walk out that door, and it's all behind her. once and for all.
Yep.
Question came in. Mark, what percentage of judges do you think would have approved a directed verdict?
Not many, although I thought when they made the motion that they might have considered really parsing out the charges and go strong on intentional murder and kind of focus it on that, because as I recall it from last week, I don't know, even if you buy the car accident thing, which at the time was still in play, I suppose, theoretically, what evidence of specific intent to kill was there? None. I mean, what are they going to say? Because of the speed that she went in reverse? I guess that would be their argument. But then the other problem they have is the dummy and the key cycles. It's not the right time. I mean, this is it hurts your head to think about how profoundly stupid and flawed this case is, and it's just a shame that she had to sit through it and be at risk of going to prison and have her life and reputation torn apart, have her parents go through this, her friends, her family. And she is going to get smeared after this by a lot of these losers, and that's a shame too.
We keep getting this comment that Yannetti's closing, but Kelly Reed just said Jackson. Kelly Reed just said it was Jackson, definitely.
She asked who was arguing, but she didn't mean the summation. She meant today over the argument over jury instructions is what she meant. That was during the charge conference. That was who's arguing about. And if you recall, there was argument and Yannetti did it.
And Kelly Reed confirmed it's definitely Jackson tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's a non-starter.
Yep. I think that's about it for most of the questions. We had some other, we had so many, I'm sure I'm missing some. 146. Come on. Wow. Crazy. I think that might be a record. What do you guys have final thoughts, like Mazda Media? What are your final kind of thoughts tonight?
I do. I like some of the things that the doctors had to say. Dr. Sheridan specified the wounds on John's arms as pattern injuries or pattern wounds, not sporadic or random wounds. That tells a big story. You imagine if someone did get hit by a tail light hypothetical situation, that tail light shatters, it is sporadic. The injuries and wounds would be here, there, and everywhere. They wouldn't be in patterns. They wouldn't be balanced. They wouldn't be similar in length. So I thought that was good. He also mentioned the hand bruises, which I was really something I wanted to hear. And being someone that takes martial arts, we call it the Dan Lee cover, which is basically when someone's hitting you and you put your hands up like this and take the punch. Well, when you're getting hit, that's where those bruises are going, right here. So that was something that Dr. Sheridan verified today as well, that was evidence of defending himself. So I thought that was very much well said. Significant bruising would be expected when you're hit by a vehicle, your torso, maybe even rib damage. Your spleen, your back, your hips, all that stuff would be bruised and battered. Furthermore, your arm, even if your arm was hit by a vehicle in reverse, and it was cut, it would still be bruised at some point. There was nothing here. These were clean puncture wounds. They were clearly from a dog, and there's no question about that. Dr. Andrew Rensler said that there's no chance that head gashing could be caused by falling on a lawn. That's just something that's just not plausible. It makes zero sense. And he also said his head injury was inconsistent with being hit by a vehicle because, again, his head would be above the vehicle. He would get hit in the mid-range, area and not his head. So, I mean, even if he fell, he's going to fall on the grass, and according to their theory. So that theory doesn't make any sense at all. So additionally, no road rash was another thing that he mentioned as well. And it all just adds up to what? That the Commonwealth's theories and the Commonwealth's charges, we're not the conspiracy theorists here. We're not the ones that are telling tall tales. It's the Commonwealth. It's the Canton Police Department. It's the Massachusetts State Police that are making up things that are not plausible. Taillight doesn't shatter like that when it's hitting a human being. And if he did get hit by a vehicle in reverse, the taillight probably doesn't shatter. He gets knocked down to the ground, and his set of injuries are completely different. That's where I rest. I'm looking forward to going tomorrow. I can't wait. I hope Karen Reed's considered not guilty as soon as possible. This thing has all been it's been a charade. It's been a sham. We're all tired and sick of it. Jill Daniels told Turtle Boy that she's sick of him. Well, we're all sick of this whole cover up. We're all sick of all this nonsense that we've had to listen to online, in person, Karen Reed in court being charged with all these charges, arrested, Turtle Boy arrested. This has been nothing but burdensome for Karen Reed and many other people. The Canton Nine, who have still been not basically, released of those charges because they've been leaving it on the desk for months, so no one can go outside D&E Pizza and upset Mr. Chicken Parm Charlie. But it's been going on and on. It's been nonstop, and we're all sick of it. And there's nothing more that this movement wants. And Karen Reed, her family, her friends, all of her supporters, and everyone around the world that's been following this case, then nothing more we all want to see than her finally be acquitted of this and get to walk out the door. Her defense team is extremely confident. Karen's extremely confident. They've done a great job. They've done an awesome job. They've done a thorough job. They've outwitted Lally at every single step. And I believe strongly that this jury, who I've seen in person, are going to deliver a verdict, whether that's tomorrow or another day. It's going to be a not guilty verdict. And I just pray there's not at least one juror out there that's on the fence and just can
Gums it
kind of
up.
really
Yeah.
see things for what it is, and basically understand that, guess what, if you're being showed inverted Sallyport footage, it probably doesn't make sense. People are really trying to throw the wool over your eyes here. So I say a prayer for Karen Reed's family, her parents. Bill, parents are wonderful people, and pray for her whole family. Pray for Kelly in the chat, who's her amazing cousin. Just pray for the whole Reed family tonight. Pray for her friends, everybody, and just say a prayer tonight again. We've all been praying for a long time, but pray once more, and do it with faith and confidence that the outcome is going to be exactly what we've all been praying for. So I'm going to stop right there. So
I can't
free
wait to
Karen
see
Reed.
you. I can't wait to see you,
Yeah,
Mazza,
same
tomorrow.
here. Likewise,
we gotta
Mike.
find
Yeah,
each other.
likewise, absolutely.
So somebody had a question about,
Yes.
there's a couple questions
Yeah.
about why she wouldn't give the Bowden charge. I guess the short answer is it doesn't matter. It's the same thing we talked about, the third party culprit charge, whether you get it or not, you're still going to argue it. And there's a lot of evidence that the cops did things here wrong. Why isn't she giving the charge? Who knows? She woke up in a bad mood. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're going to argue that the cops are screwed up the case, didn't do serious work. That argument is not going to have any less impact because the judge is not telling them that you may find, if that's the case, that you should not, credit what they say. That's common sense anyway. So she probably should have given them the instruction since they saw it, but it doesn't really matter on that. The jury's not going to give any reasons about, they're not going to give a verdict that says Karen Reed is not guilty, but we think Colin Albert did it. That's not how it works. They're just going to say not guilty. There'll be a box to check for each count. And what you really want to do apparently is hear the words not guilty 3 times, and it will go in descending order, murder at the top all the way down to as low as it goes. So, you're not out of the woods until you clear all 3. But other than that, as far as my thoughts, scandal. And I think it's time to move beyond analyzing the evidence and analyzing what's anybody going to do about it. I'm pretty comfortable at this point saying I think they deliberately prosecuted an actually innocent woman. There's just because, she said I might have hit him doesn't mean she hit him. And according to these very, very credible experts, she didn't hit him. And that seems about as strong expert testimony as you would ever get. And so if you move away from that and say, what are you left with? You're left with only bad things that could have been done by other people. And, it's a limited universe of suspects. They're all standing there in the house and sending these crazy messages and butt dials and doing everything else. So the question is, why did they have such tunnel vision on her right away? Why did Proctor claim immediately that I knew it was a hit and run and didn't have to go in the house? That's what Tully said. That's what Proctor said. That's what Yuri said. Why are there taillight fragments on the lawn that don't make sense? Couldn't have happened. Couldn't have gotten there naturally. That means somebody put them there. That's disturbing. Why did the DA decide to move forward with this case knowing that the experts were not going to agree with them, knowing the text messages that Proctor sent, knowing that the ME was never going to give them the testimony that they really needed? So this is a scandal, and they treat it like it's a game. And when they shrug their shoulders and say, well, we lost, it happens. Prosecutors lose. That happens. But that's not good enough, because how could they miss all the signs that she was innocent and getting screwed here? And what appears to be the answer is that they're part of it. I mean, if you condone it, you're part of it. They pushed this case forward. They used the terrible police officers. They used, in certain cases, dirty police officers. It's just disgusting. And, you have an innocent woman sitting there for a 9-week trial for about 2.5 years or whatever it is, with legal fees up the wazoo, walking down the street, getting pointed at, called, whatever, getting just smeared by losers online, being just grotesquely humiliated because you had to do it to support your defense with those text messages. I mean, no one should be subjected to that because a dirtbag like Proctor, and then having to listen to him not apologize, having to listen to him try to justify it because I was emotional, as if she's like Hitler or something. I mean, my God, I still to this day don't understand, what the problem was. Somebody just made a really good point that we talked about. No blood on the taillight. It was just touch DNA. Mike, we talked about that repeatedly, that they were way overselling that. And of course, the expert agreed with that. I just saw that in the comments. But to get back to the point, this is a real scandal, and she should sue the pants off of everyone. I'm sure she will. The feds should look into all of this. I'm sure she will. Somebody made a joke. Would you join the civil team? Of course I would join the civil team. But all that stuff aside, it's a real scandal. And they put an innocent woman and her family and friends through hell. And it's not okay for them to shrug their shoulders and say, who cares? What if she got convicted? What if she didn't have great lawyers? I don't know. Maybe she would have gotten convicted, and maybe it would have taken a couple of years for it to be undone. I think inevitably this would have been undone because it's such a terrible case. But there has to be answers. And what you're going to see, I think you're going to see the DA run and hide, and they're going to try to wrap it up in, we don't want to talk to the press about a dismissed case, and Lally won't have any comment, of course, but that's different. It's Morrissey who should be talking. The head of the state police, the colonel, is that what they call him, should be talking about his people. People should be questioned. Answers should be given. People should be fired. So much should happen here because this wrong should be undone. And that's my takeaway. People should get relieved tomorrow when she gets acquitted, but then they should get angry and investigate further and see where it leads, because this kind of thing appears to be regular business in Norfolk County, and that's disgusting.
Exactly. And that's what I'm looking forward to, seeing what happens next after this is not guilty, and then see some punishment, see some reform, see some hell to pay.
Yep.
And I think it will come. I think Tuesday night, Canton Select Board's going to be interesting. I'm going to be watching that one. What do you think, Mazza? Yeah?
Oh, I can't wait for that. I get my popcorn out every time Rita and Jennifer O'Donnell show up to speak at that microphone. Just give it to that.
That timing's going to be terrible. What time is that meeting?
7 p.m. tomorrow night.
Okay, so she's acquitted for like a couple of hours, and then here we go right into the Canton Select Board, and they have like free for all open mic night, and they can ask Chris Albert questions.
Yes, but of course they never answer. Like they don't. That's their policy. We don't answer questions in the public comment.
People are saying in your comments they canceled the meeting.
Yeah, I was
Did
gonna
they
say,
cancel it?
Cancellation rumors. Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
I haven't heard that. I'll have to go look at their public agenda and ask Rita. And
yeah. I heard some rumors earlier in the night too that might have been canceled. So that's
that would be something
verification
if
will be
they
needed.
did cancel.
If ever there was a day to take the heat, it would be tomorrow and answer the questions.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be something if they actually canceled it. I'll be really mad.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well,
No truth to the rumor that Lally's female co-counsel is closing. No,
Yeah.
no.
and people are getting dressed up. They're getting their outfits ready for tomorrow.
Some will have the
Kristen has a-
anti-bev stuff going. Yeah.
Yeah, Jackson Gianetti's shirt is ready for the morning.
The
Nice.
real question is, if there's an acquittal, is well, I call her the judge. I can't call her Auntie Bev. I can't.
Beverly
But,
Canone.
Right.
Canone.
Is she gonna say, okay, Miss Reed, you're all set?
You're all set.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Well,
that'd be hilarious. That'd be the best
You
ending
get your
possible.
Lexus
Actually, yeah.
back tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll set that
Yeah.
up for you.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't think she's going to say you're all set.
Yeah.
I think she's
Uh,
going to say, okay.
Is she gonna? Do they say we're sorry?
Who?
The state or the government or the judge, anybody say, hey, you know what? We're sorry we put you through all this.
No, you sue them for millions of dollars,
Right.
depose them, expose the corruption, and take your bags of money and walk out. That's what she should do.
We got people asking if they can work for you in Massachusetts. Actually, they want you to get your Mass bar
Yeah.
license.
It's actually very easy to
Get
you
it
know, get
once you're already
reciprocity.
in, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you just cut a check basically. Not a small check, but a check.
How much of a check?
It's probably like 1,500 or 2,000, and then they confirm that you're actually admitted and not with loaded with disciplinary issues. You fill out an application, and then they bless you and tell you, okay, you're a lawyer, and of course you know nothing about Massachusetts procedure or anything, but now you can go run amok and be a lawyer.
Find out what you don't know.
Right. It's actually pretty similar to New York procedure wise. They're both very, at least on the books, when it comes to discovery and things like that, very liberal states, although you wouldn't know it from this case. Because, it appears that late discovery that you saw yesterday, I thought it might have been related possibly to a rebuttal case, but it wasn't, because there was no rebuttal case. And they just nonchalantly filed a bunch of stuff late last week after the witnesses had testified, which is just a couple days after they complained and said you should preclude these ARCA witnesses from testifying. Can you imagine now hearing what they said, being Lally and saying they shouldn't be allowed to testify because, they didn't tell us in time or give us a report? But now you know why also Lally didn't question them on substance at that voir dire, because the anger would have taken over people 5 days ago instead of today if they heard all this.
You want to hear a funny one?
Always.
Sure.
Did you know that there's a law tuber called Peg Leg Finance that said in his day 29 live stream that Karen Reed is guilty and that he thinks she's going to be arrested by the feds for witness intimidation?
So let's kind of break this down in reverse order. The feds are going to arrest Karen Reed for intimidating witnesses in a Norfolk County Superior Court state case because she did what exactly?
She talked to Turtle Boy.
Right. And she's also guilty. Okay. I mean,
after they gave 3,000 pages to help her win her case in Norfolk County.
And you have to assume they know a lot more that they're not sharing. Because
Sounds like Peg Leg
giveaway.
Finance. Yeah. He might be a Russian troll farm or something. I don't know what that is. It just doesn't, it doesn't sound good. I don't know about you guys. I was in the financial industry. I've never heard of Peg Leg Finance. It seems like it could be one of those Bulgarian scams.
They're saying it's a law tuber, which is a word I only learned like 2 weeks ago, by the way.
Yeah. Be careful.
Doesn't that mean lawyer or not necessarily?
Yeah. I would say if he asks for money, don't give him any, especially if he's going to invest in some Bitcoin or something.
Yeah. No grifting.
Could be a scam.
Don't want to be a grifter.
Yeah.
Oh, he insinuated that myself and Melanie Little and Turtle Boy were paid by Jackson. Yeah, that's a big, hard
no. Yeah.
no.
If that's the case, where's my check from Jackson? How come I've been raising? It's just the opposite, actually. I got emails from Alan Jackson thanking me for raising money for them.
if everybody thinks I'm getting paid, I guess my
Right.
real question is, where's my check from you?
Yeah, exactly. Anyone's
That's a
getting a
great
check
question,
would be
actually. I'm
from
like, where
us.
is that check actually?
Yeah, you guys need some money. Got to
No.
pay some taxes, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, understood.
No,
That's Massachusetts.
I hope
we're
you're
Yeah.
making money now, Maz, on it.
Yeah.
I don't think these guys are paying people who just are, the crime of having an opinion that this is a travesty of justice, which I think most people think at this point.
Hmm.
Most
And you
sane
know
people.
who's really getting rich off this is YouTube. They're making the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that company. I want to thank you guys both for being here like every single night over and over again, giving the best coverage. It's been amazing. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing Mazza and Attorney Bederow. I'm looking forward to doing another. Like, we got to do at least one more Karen Reed show after this is over,
Yep.
and figure
Wrap
out what
up.
we do next, because I think that people want more. Like, they want more. They want, like, what's the next trial? What's the next case? We'll see what happens. I mean,
Well, hopefully you can get some of them to join you. That would be the home run.
amazing.
That
Yeah,
would be
Yeah.
awesome.
with Kelly Reed, with the Reed family. Yeah, any of the jurors, who
attorneys.
knows? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be compelling to watch
hmm That'd
or
be awesome.
participate in. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That'd be fantastic. I'm looking forward to, like I said, I'm looking forward to Karen Reed's exoneration and just her being able to move on with her life after 2.5 years of just this utter chaos that she doesn't deserve. And frame job that just was totally unfair to her, and people that murdered a man that should be, you know, feeling the wrath and consequences of their own actions and not trying to blame it on an innocent, factually innocent woman.
yeah. I can't
Yeah.
wait. This is going to be. It's been a long time coming. Long
Mhm.
time coming. That not
Yep.
guilty verdict. Hopefully it'll be tomorrow.
Yep.
I
100%.
think it will be. I think you're going to be on time and happy and take in the scene, and you'll see the good stuff tomorrow. But if it's not, there's no reason to panic. It is a murder case. I mean, it doesn't have to be tomorrow, but I don't know what there is to talk about after today. I mean, if usually a deliberation, I think what you would do is start with the DA's main case, their main theory, which is she ran him over. And then you had the two experts say, no, she didn't. So if that's credible, is that reasonable doubt? There's literally nothing else to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah. More beep. I love the beeping. That means people are watching.
Yeah, no, that's my text. I don't know how to shut the text off on the Apple computer while I've got the sound on. So.
That's not a big deal. We've come to get used to it.
Yeah. Part of the show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the
Yeah.
show. It's like me not turning on my mic again.
Right.
Yeah, that happens.
Now
Yeah.
it's been Mazza. Mazza's done it twice in a row.
Yeah. I think I
Usually it's
sneezed.
me
I
doing
think I
twice in
sneezed
a show.
earlier. I shut my camera off, and then I actually sneezed. People are like, Mazza, we can hear you sneezing and hacking up or whatever back there. So I was like, I forgot to hit the mute button earlier. So now I was feeling good. So
Everyone has their moments here.
it happens. It's live television, right? Live YouTube.
It is
so
live.
that
We have
happens.
no producers. We're,
Yep.
We do everything. Thank you so much, guys, for
Thank
being
you.
here. I will
Thank you so much.
talk to you tomorrow, and
Absolutely.
we'll be celebrating, hopefully.
Absolutely. Mike, thank
Have-
you so much. Mark, as always, it's been great. Mike, I'll see you
Yep.
tomorrow. And one more time, free Karen Reed. Let's go. Here we go, folks. Tomorrow.
Free Karen Reed, absolutely. And check out Mazza Media. Make sure you subscribe and following him too on YouTube and Twitter.
Yep. Thank you
And
so much.
Bederow Law on Twitter as well. Thank you guys so much for being here again
Take
tonight.
care.
You're welcome. Have a great
Cool.
night, everyone. Free
Take
Karen
care.
Reed.
Bye.
All right. Goodbye.
See you tomorrow. And my name is Mike Crawford. I'm just gonna check very quickly any new super chats that came in. Thank you so much, Prickly Peach. Someone said Paul is a danger tomorrow. He's unstable. I don't think he's going to be dangerous. I hope not. I don't think so. I want to thank everyone who's been donating, supporting. I just want to check one thing right now. Is the Venmo app. Did see a couple Venmos come in earlier. I want to thank everyone who's been supporting us. Wow. Holy crap. I think we might be here a little bit. Let me read off these Venmos real quickly. Brian sent $10. He said, I wish I could make it there tomorrow to meet and thank you. Please set up a meet and greet for all of us who love you guys. Maybe at the Kowloon. That would be great. I like that. That's a good idea, Brian. Maybe we will do something at the Kowloon. I bet Bederow. Maybe we could get Bederow out to the Kowloon. That would be amazing. Laura Stackpole says, you guys are the best. She sent 50. Wow, Laura. Thank you so much. Very generous of you. Wow. Christine said, bite your tongue calling them Albert's Irish. They couldn't be more English. Free Karen Reed. Rest in peace, John O'Keefe. Okay. I guess we're calling them something else. Jeff. One second. Hold on a second. Jeff said $15. Says, definitely going to need a new case as soon as possible. We are going to have withdrawals from Mike, Mark, and Mazza Media. Hashtag the young jerks. Thank you so much, Jeff. I may take a little break, maybe a week or something. I don't know. This has been a roller coaster doing it every night. We might ease into some other cases. We'll see. I don't want you to go cold turkey. But I might not, you know how it is. We got to ease into the next one. Chad Terry says, great show. Maybe Lally can get a job with ARCA as a crash test dummy. Thank you so much. That's a good one. Tiffany sends 100. Oh my God, Tiffany. Thank you so much. That is wicked generous. On Venmo, she says, I love your coverage with Bederow and Mazza, but I equally like watching the board meetings now. Most of the men on that board seriously need to remove themselves. Well, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., we'll be covering the Kitten Select Board unless they cancel the meeting. That's the rumor. I don't know. Andrea sends $5 and says, can Judge Bev overturn verdict or nullify the jury? We did answer that earlier tonight. Thank you so much for the donation. Jennifer said, I got my Free Karen Reed t-shirt over the weekend, wearing it loud and proud here in Kentucky. Love your show, and thanks for all you do. Thank you so much, Jennifer. All right. I think that's all the Venmo. They keep coming in, though. We got Cash Apps, too. Thank you so much, everybody. Mary Jane sends $5. She said, thank you so much. I watch every night. Free Karen Reed. Thank you so much, Mary Jane. Some jackass just requested 500 from me. Oh man. Someone said $2 from Buffalo. Berta deliberated in 3 hours. So love from Buffalo. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Get some love from Buffalo. And Mary Jane also sent another $5. She said, freedom for Karen and justice for Officer John O'Keefe. All right, let me turn down this needs painting. This is what happens with these jerks. They confirm declining this. Maybe I can report them too. A lot of times the trolls will send these big requests to my Venmo and Cash Apps, hoping that I'll click on them. Imagine like doing that after you watch court and you know your side's going to lose, your supposed side. The type of people we have out there. Question came up from Sandy, said, can judge interrupt closings? Sure she can. But will she? I don't think she will. Comment from Forever Wander said, Chris Albert was convicted of vehicular homicide in 1994, hit and run, turned himself in. 30 hours later, his attorney was Cannoni's brother. He got 2 years suspended, and he still buys rounds of shots, of fireball shots for the folks who are at the bar with him. I mean, if I got a vehicular homicide, I'd stop buying rounds of shots for people, especially fireballs. But hey, not Chris Albert. Madam Ross said September 16th, Ferris gang did same to Dateline on film. Yeah, they did. They assaulted people. that crowd there in Canton. They want everyone to believe that they're not violent, that they could never do something like this, but then they act like thugs and assault people. I think it's funny, and they threaten people. They threaten people online. It's been months and months of this. That's why it feels so good tomorrow. I feel so good for Karen Reed. I feel good, so good for the supporters, for everyone that's been standing up for this, and I can't wait to see y'all tomorrow. I'll be there outside the courthouse tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. I want to know, are people wearing shorts tomorrow? It's supposed to be really hot, or are they, should I wear pants? Well, I don't know. I never wear shorts, but it's going to be really hot tomorrow. I want to hear right now. We got how many people? We still got 6,500 watching. I want to know in the comments right now. Are you going tomorrow? I want to know how many of you are going to be there at court tomorrow, especially around 2 p.m., 1:30, 2 p.m., 3. That's around the time I'll be there outside. Will you be there tomorrow? Someone said shorts, Mike. Come on. Yeah. You know what, Scott? I never wear shorts. I really don't. But I got no AC in the car. It's going to be 128 all the way. I'm going to be wearing shorts tomorrow. I might not, Scott, I might be driving down the highway with like no shirt on, like, like no AC in that car. It's like my smoke detector, something I should have gotten fixed months ago. But now I'm going to have plenty of time to catch up on my life. Like Karen Reed's going to be over. Yeah, I know Hollywood OG. It's actually going to be Jackson closing tomorrow. We got that confirmation from Kelly Reed tonight. Karen Reed's cousin. So yeah, I think I'm going to be doing shorts tomorrow. I think I got the shorts. A little conscious about wearing the shorts out in public. Mike, are you streaming tomorrow night? Definitely. I'm going to be streaming the Canton Select Board meeting if it happens, if they don't cancel at 7 p.m. And I don't know. I don't know like what else I'll be doing. I don't know if Bederow will be around. Who knows? We'll see what happens tomorrow night. And I don't know. I may stream from, tomorrow afternoon even. We'll see. We'll see where I'm at. Someone said men shouldn't wear shorts. Wear pants, Mike, KK. Yeah, you say that, but I'm going to be in the hot car with no air conditioning, 90 plus degrees. I'm probably going to do the shorts. Someone said, get a fan. Oh, get AC fixed. That's really what I got to do. I look younger when I'm shaving. Get a misting fan. I don't have time to get a misting fan. It's the problem in my life. I don't have time to do anything. Someone said, wear the shorts. I am going to wear the shorts. Get the AC fixed. Exactly. That's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Hopefully. The problem is, I took it to my guy today, my car, and he said he can't fix it. He said he doesn't want to bother with it. He fixed my tire so I can get there, thank God. But getting a car to the dealership is such a hassle now. They're always short staffed. They only want to do it on Monday and Tuesdays, the busiest days for me, But yeah, I will get. I am definitely planning to get that AC fixed. Someone says shorts, stop it. But I want to know. I forget talking about my shorts. I want to know, are you going? How many of you are going tomorrow? I want to hear from the people who are going tomorrow. Bring sunscreen. Who's going tomorrow? Who's going to be outside court tomorrow? I hate going to the dealership. I also want to know, what other cases do you want us to cover going forward? CLW said they went today. It was amazing. Where do I park? I heard the Registry of Deeds is the best place to park, Lauren. That's where I'm going to be parking, I guess. Registry of Deeds. That's what Mazza told me. Yeah, Scott McGinnis is going to be there. I got to find Scott. He'll be there. Miss Shorty would be there if she wasn't in Australia. This one's got a 13-hour ride. UK. Yeah, put a 1 if you're going tomorrow in the chat. Some people want me to cover the Birchmore, Donald Adelson. I think the Adelson's done, isn't it, pretty much? They got the brother. Mike said enough of the shorts. You guys are still going on about the shorts. Oh, I got Mazza Media. He's going. Caroline's going to be there. I'm like, Caroline, I hope to see you there tomorrow. Suzanne's going to be there. John, I look forward to seeing you all there. I know Scott will be there. Lauren, I hope I see you there tomorrow, Lauren. Wow, look at all these people going. Good. Idaho murders. I think that's a done deal too. I don't know. I'm not really into maybe Delphi. I don't know about Delphi. It looks interesting. I don't know enough about it. Someone said open the windows. Yeah, I think I have all the windows open. When it's 93 degrees out, opening the windows doesn't really do much for you. Even on the highway. Especially when that sun's beaming down on you. Birchmore, definitely. That's a given. You know, we've already been covering Birchmore. We'll definitely cover Birchmore. Tracy's going to be there. Looking forward to seeing you there tomorrow, Tracy. Hopefully. Dog bite. Hopefully see you there. Someone wants Baldwin is interesting to me because it's like worker safety issue. So I could cover that. Who knows? All right. I'm glad to see some people are going to be there tomorrow. I heard it was a big crowd today. So I'm going to hang it up tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming the court in the morning, 9 a.m. if I get up on time. And then I got to walk a couple dogs. And then I jump in the car, and I'm going to head to the Dedham Courthouse tomorrow. Probably arrive, I'm guessing about 2 p.m. And if Mark Bederow is right, the over-under is 3:30 p.m., so I could arrive just in time. This may be perfect tomorrow. I canceled my dentist appointment today, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. We'll definitely be live streaming at 7 p.m., the Canton Select Board meeting, and we'll see what else tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow outside of court. I'm looking forward to it. Everyone stay cool tomorrow. It's supposed to be hot again. Have a great night. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you so much again.